Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Hacking Self Storage. It is Tuesday morning, and what we're doing today is comparing revenue. We're comparing my Beverley site and my Willerby site. We're comparing revenue in January and February because it's I don't have the full data when I'm recording this. It's still in March. So I don't have March full data because I pre-record these a little bit earlier. So I know it's coming out in March, but I don't have March's revenue. So what we're doing is just comparing January and February's revenue in Willoughby and Beverley, and seeing what the difference is, and then we're going to explain why the difference is, and then what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to next 3 days we're going to be doing this, so we're going to be comparing our sites, and then we're going to at the end of it. I think on Thursday's episode, I think we're going to do a whole the all combined sites, the difference. And do you know what? I am over the moon, and I think it's so vital that sometimes I love every month looking back and comparing how it was this time last year to how it was this year to compare to how it was last month. And I think it's good just to actually set ourselves and think, right, okay, what went right, what went wrong? Take a few hours, take a walk, and just be at one with the figures, be zen with the figures. And that's what we are doing here. That's what I've done. And this is honestly, it's one of my most enjoyable exercises. At the end of the quarter, I love looking at the data, looking at the figures, and looking how ultimately we can improve the bottom line. Right, so let's start with Beverley. And by the way, let me tell you, if you haven't done so, make sure you go to mrselfstorage.com. It's my daily newsletter where I tell you everything. I document my whole journey, and we are going to sell for nine figures, baby, 100 million one day. And I'm documenting the process. And yes, that is actually the goal. I've said on LinkedIn before it's 50 million, but I thought it was a bit too douchey to say 100 million. And by the way, it's not about the money. It's just about the journey. I love the journey. So it's not because I want to earn 100 million or anything like that. Because I genuinely, yeah, obviously it'd be nice, but what could you do with 100 million that you couldn't do with 50 million? I don't think life would change that much. And so, yeah, I'm documenting the process. And just because I want a goal, it's good to have a goal in life. If you don't have any goals, you don't have any directions, then you're just like a car with no sat nav and just driving around aimlessly. So, yeah, me personally, that's how I work. And it motivates me. It really does. And also, I can change the lives of the people around me, my mom, my dad, my family, the people, my team. So, yeah, it's something that I enjoy doing. Anyway, let's crack on then. So, Beverley's revenue in January 2024 was 16,600. I'm rounding up or down. We've rounded down 13 quid there. So that was January's revenue 2024. January's revenue 2025 was 17,500. So there's an extra 900-ish there. Again, we're rounding up and down. So that is an extra £900. Now, it don't sound a lot, but this is a mature site, a very, very small site. So that's over 10 grand a year. And obviously, when you increase, if it goes over 12 months, if we take just 1 month times by 12, it's over £10,000. And the extra revenue, there's no increased costs to that extra revenue. So that £10,000 goes straight to the bottom line and just basically pays for my debts. Remember, repayment of loans. In February 2024, the revenue was 15,312. Now, what we've got to remember in February, that it is a shorter month, so we take less revenue. It's 3 days shorter than January and 3 days shorter than March. So we are going to take a lot less revenue purely because there's less days. So therefore, we can't charge as much. So February revenue 2024 was 15,300. February's revenue 2025 was 16,600. Whoa! There's a £1,300 difference in 2025. So Beverley, in 2024, the revenue combined for January and February was 31,900. In Beverley, January and February 2025, the revenue was 34,165. So 35. Basically, the total was £2,240 extra revenue in 2025. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, but like I say, that for me is wicked because it's like £12,000 just over extra revenue if we continue. All we're going to do now is maintain, and it's £12,000 extra. We're double stacking now at Beverley with some toppers. And so the revenue is going to increase. But at the minute, there's no extra cost between 2024 and 2025. Everything is the same. And so that £12,000 extra will go straight to the bottom line. And Beverley is my smallest site, so we can't do a lot of revenue management at Beverley. So really, really impressed there. Willoughby, let's go on to Willoughby now. This is my big site. So there is going to be differences here because obviously Willoughby takes a heck of a lot of money and is a massive 30,000 square foot building. So January 2024, the revenue was 74,900. In January 2025, the revenue was 83,900. That's mental. So the difference from January 2024 to January 2025 was 9 grand, £9,000. And so if we times that by 12, we're talking an extra £100,000 a year. This is why it's so crucial to have your revenue management on point. Your price increases, your demand pricing, your street rate goes up and down depending on demand of the units, the seasonality. If you get this spot on, it can go from self-storage being a good business to self-storage being a bloody amazing business. So obvious at the minute, I think self-storage is a bloody amazing business because we're on point with our revenue management. February 2024, the revenue was 67,100. February 2025, the revenue, check this out, was 76,000. It was 75,998. That's what I'm stuttering. So it was £76,000 basically. So the difference, exact difference in this month was £8,891 extra in 2025. Again, incredible stuff. Willoughby, January and February 2024, the revenue was 142,000. Willoughby, January and February 2025, the revenue was 159,896. So the extra revenue was 17,884 extra in 2025. And I want to iterate, nothing has changed in terms of costs. The costs remain the same. We've had no increases to our rent or anything like that. So it's all the same. So that's incredible. That's over £100,000 difference. That is wonderful. So in total, let's see what else I've got here. I've got some. Let's have a look. Yeah. So basically, let's break it down by the percentage increase. Yeah. So basically, we're taking over £20,000 difference between. But with Willoughby and Beverley, we're taking £20,000 more in the opening 2 months. Just these two sites, £20,000 more, but goes straight to the bottom line, but allows us to expand more. Because we're not bothered about taking more money home or anything like that, because we want to reinvest it in the company to make sure that we can open more sites. And site number 7 is so close to being announced. It is a really, really good site. I put all my eggs in this basket, and it's been a long time coming. So January 2024, the revenue between these two sites was 173,900. It's January and February 2025 for Willoughby and Beverley. The revenue is 194,000. So it's it's £20,000 increase. So when we look at it in decimal percentage increase, it's 11.6 increase from 2024. I always say mature sites, I would love to get 10% increase in revenue from mature sites. Now I know people with mature sites are like, that's ridiculous, Dean. You can't hit that. That's very, very outlandish. That's a big goal. Yep, it is, but it's not impossible. And why not have big goals? Why not have a big goal rather than a little goal? So yeah, we try to increase the revenue 10% from our sites. These two sites together combined is 11.6% increase from 2024. It's not unheard of to increase your mature sites by 10%. These two are nearly mature. Willoughby, technically, I think, is a mature site now. Beverley's a mature site now. That's why we started with these two, because it was our first two, and we've increased the revenue. Honestly, I'm genuinely over the moon, because last year was a strong year, coming off COVID as well. It was still a strong year, and this start has been wonderful as well. So I am literally bouncing with these figures. And I believe March was even better. And so maybe next week I can delve into the figures for March as well, because I'll have all that data. And yeah, I already know it's better. I already know that it's better than January and February, because for Willoughby, certainly anyway, for Willoughby is a lot better. And Beverley will just keep chugging along the way Beverley does, because Beverley's a great site. But yeah, Willoughby has increased its revenue. We've had our best. We're on, well, whatever. We're definitely taking our best ever month ever for revenue at Willoughby in March. So yes, there we go. revenue management, demand pricing, and positioning. I've said that's the reason. My target is to increase mature sites by 10% year on year. It's very hard to achieve, but that's the target every year. 2025 has started well towards that goal, so fingers crossed. I put tomorrow, we will look at Clough Road and Wrexham. So Clough Road and Wrexham tomorrow, that's Wednesday, and then Mansfield on Thursday, and then we'll do a combined as well for the whole sites and see how much money extra we've taken. Spoiler alert, it's a lot extra. It really is. Mansfield's a new site, so that's why I'm doing Mansfield separate because Mansfield was only a few months old in January, February 2024. And obviously, it's a year older. It's like 15 months old or something. Maybe 16 months old, something like that at the minute. All right, my friends. Jesus, it's got dark really quickly. I just logged back onto the Zoom and when I'm recording it, and yeah, my face is all lit up beautifully by my light in the background. All right, my friends. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you tomorrow when we talk about Clough Road and Wrexham. And again, it's been a good month, a good 2 months. All right, my friends. I love you. I appreciate it. Bye.